Hey everybody, Joe Misfit Glenn here. We are with Granny Lisa. It's gonna be vets chatting with Granny Lisa. It should be a great show. We're gonna share some ideas about dealing with the VA. Yeah. All right. So first off, we got a one Facebook user in here so far. We got 3 viewers. I just want to say hey to everybody. Um, but without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start because you guys can always come back to this stuff. Okay. Andrew, welcome. Okay, Granny,
Yes.
share a little bit about yourself and tell us how you got started in this and why you're so passionate about helping veterans.
Well, I'm a veteran, obviously. I wouldn't be here, right?
Hell yeah.
And I was in 1980 to 1984 Army, and I was a 71 Lima secretary,
Oh, yeah.
but I basically went to whatever the jobs were. My last duty station was with the MPs in Washington at Fort Lewis. And
Well,
so,
thank you for your service, Granny.
thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And I started doing Vets Chatting with Granny Lisa by accident. I was on another veteran show, and we were talking about what I did with children. I still do. I dress up as a granny, and I go and read stories with them. And they sit on my lap, and they can talk to me, and they can play with my jewelry, and just have a moment of that granny time, because
Sure.
families are so split apart nowadays that a lot of children don't have grandmas around. And
Agreed.
so I thought that that was an important thing that I can share. I'm 100% disabled. And so I was just trying to find a way that I can contribute and give something back. So
Sure.
I've always had a heart for children. And then as I was sharing this on this other veteran show, there was a lot of veterans that wanted to talk to me and that were allowed to, and they just opened up and they just needed Granny.
Sure.
And so it was such a good response that I was encouraged to start Granny Lisa for the veterans,
Awesome.
because there is so much that veterans go through, as you are well aware. And some of them are older. And I think about our World War II veterans, to our Vietnam and Korean veterans,
Oh, yeah.
to our most recent veterans. And even the World War II veterans need a grandma,
Yeah.
and somebody just to hear them. You know,
Absolutely.
that they're alive, and what they feel and what they've experienced has value. Because so many have been shut out. If you think about the
Yeah.
World War II and Korean, those men came back and they did what needed to be done, get America rebuilt, and
Right.
the families that just put that to the side.
Yeah.
And a lot of their problems were alcoholism, and
Sure.
anger,
Hmm.
because they did not share about that. My own father, he was in the Navy, and to this day, I mean, I still don't know what he experienced, just bits and pieces. I do
Sure.
know that he was shot. I don't know the exact term for it, but he drove the boat with the soldiers to the shore.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure somebody will mention it here.
Yeah,
One of my Navy folks will pop that out.
yeah, and that was his job. And so he would pull up the boat, drop the whatever that was, and the soldiers would run down and out to
Hmm.
the beaches. And so I do know that he did, on the return trip, he got shot in the back, but
Sure.
he continued on. The second Purple Heart that he got shot with, he did not. He refused to tell me. He told me that once he passed, I would get his photo album of his experiences, and it would explain to me what he went through. Unfortunately, I never got that. So it's
Mm.
still a mystery, but I do know that he kept it. It was not something we talked about.
Yeah.
Vietnam, they came back. Man, those guys were just ignored. They got treated bad.
Yeah.
And so my heart goes out to the veterans because nobody understands a veteran like another veteran. And
I
so
agree.
that's what I do is I get people on that talk about what they're doing for helping veterans or other veterans that share their experiences and want people to know that you're not alone. We're used to going in and they build that being independent person that you are in the outside to being a group person that you rely on each other. You work as a unit.
As a team. Yeah.
And so that's what's drilled into us. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way our life is. And then you get out of that life and now you're back to being an individual. Well, who do you talk to? You used to be able to talk to your buddy over here about, hey, wasn't that ambush, whatever.
Right.
That was freaking bullshit, or what? To be able to get that out,
Yeah.
you don't have that.
Yeah.
You're not going to share it with your wife.
Sure.
So what do you do with it?
I am lucky enough to have a combat brother that I've been with since 1992. Like we went through basic and we went through every war together, which was, well, he went through 2 of them with me and I went on to another 3rd one. But there is an absolute distinguishing moment when you're talking to a combat brother above and beyond your mother, your dad, your sisters, wives, even another brother that wasn't a combat brother of yours. There is a difference. And so you got to find the like-minded folks to be able to speak with.
Exactly.
And I want to throw out this to you, Granny Lisa, is that what you offer, a sympathetic ear and no judgment, and just how you portray yourself is so easy to unleash your bullshit to. And I say that lightly, but you're able to take it and it's obvious because we had a nice conversation and I was unleashing bullshit and it didn't even affect you,
Well,
and so that's a nice thing. That's a good thing because most
right.
people will shy away immediately, and so I appreciate that.
Well, and I think the reason is that I was not in during combat. Okay.
Understood.
But I have a great imagination.
Mm.
And my son, he served in Iraq 2 times and in Afghanistan. Now, he will not share with me his experiences, and I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very thankful that he has sought out help, and because he was not adjusting well to coming back to civilian life.
Yeah.
Let's put
A
it
lot
that
of us
way.
don't.
Exactly. But I understood that. And so I don't mind going down the rabbit hole.
Right.
It doesn't scare me.
Sure.
If anything, it encourages me to get the word out that
Sure.
our veterans, when I signed up, I knew what the possibilities could be.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does.
Sure.
You take that oath. You have no guarantees at all.
Exactly.
Did I suffer trauma in my own way, non-combat? Yes, I was a victim of sexual rape.
It happens too much to the females in the military.
Yeah.
Too much.
And then it was also swept under the carpet. So, you don't talk about those things. And this is in the 80s.
Sure.
So, we've come a long way, but not enough because it's now turned into a different thing. That's a whole nother episode. But,
Right.
I still have my trauma for that.
Sure.
But it's a different trauma.
Understood.
Pain is pain.
Yeah.
And emotions of pain I can relate to. And I don't like seeing it. I have a great respect for veterans.
Sure.
And I have a great respect for our heroes that have passed. I think that they have a story that needs to be told and respected. And I believe that America has forgot about their duty to veterans, soldiers, active soldiers, and to those who have gone beyond.
Amen.
And also for the families that have gone through this with their soldiers, with their
Yeah.
husbands, with their fathers, taking care of them, caretakers, whatever the role that they've played, they haven't gotten the respect either. And I think that's unfortunate because our land is free because of us,
Roger that.
not because of the politicians.
That's correct.
Did you ever see a politician out there firing a?
Not personally.
No,
Nope.
no. In fact, the only person I saw was Reagan. He did come to Korea and he met with the soldiers. I saw him from way back yonder, but he was there. I don't know. Did Biden go and see any of the soldiers out in Afghanistan? I don't think
I'm going to go ahead and, because I don't know for sure, but I would put money on it that he did not.
I don't think so. I know he hasn't. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Nor did Obama.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
It's unfortunate, but
No. But who did go? And I'm not just saying this. I am saying it. Trump did go to Germany, and he visited our troops there.
Yeah.
And he also made it a point to go visit our troops in the hospital that were injured, and wrote personal letters to every soldier that passed on his watch to the families. Personal letter, not just one of those type ones and then you sign.
Yeah, right. If we're on it about the soldiers that have passed, that have given their lives, that have done the ultimate sacrifice. I was talking.
I apologize for my dogs. They hear me. They hear my emotions.
No worries. I understand that point, but I have a lot of brothers that I refuse to forget. And for me, I was infantry, and then as a medic, I was put with the infantry. So all I had was brothers until the end. When I got hurt, I had all female soldiers under me. I was their NCO, but my whole tour was basically with men. And so when I say brothers, I do not mean to offend my sisters out there. It's literally because I was with all men. But I refuse absolutely. And I'm sure that everybody else in vet codes that knows me would agree. I refuse to forget my brothers and sisters that gave their lives in the hopes that everybody here today talking would have a better life. I refuse.
Exactly. And I think it's our responsibility.
It is.
Because the government doesn't teach this in schools anymore. I remember hearing lessons about the meaning of Memorial Day and the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
Right.
There's a huge difference, okay?
Yes.
I'm not saying there is no live heroes, okay? There are plenty of them.
Sure.
But when I consider a hero, the ultimate hero is those that have passed.
Yeah.
Either put themselves in harm to save others, that were taken by surprise, whatever the situation. If they were on duty and they were killed or died, those people are the ultimate heroes. And they deserve the respect.
Yeah, and it literally goes down to, the people that are alive, that are our heroes, that's Veterans Day, at least the veterans that are our heroes.
Yes.
Mother's Day is a big one for one of my heroes. And, my wife, she's the mother of my children. That's a day specifically for them. Memorial Day is for me to remember my brothers and sisters and loved ones that have passed. And so, I think I feel that same passion because I've been thanked for my service on Memorial Day. And I've told people, look, it's not about my day. This is about my brothers and sisters and family that have lost or that are no longer with us. So let's give them the love. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not really a hard concept to get. It's just that nobody ever explained that, I guess.
No, and there's not the explanation about also when you go and you visit a memorial, the veterans cemetery, there may be, and I think you know about it, the coins.
Yes.
You know, if there's pennies, dimes, nickels,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason for them.
Yep.
And I think there's even one for quarters.
A quarter meant you were with them, I believe, at the passing.
I don't know where my phone is, and somebody's calling me.
There's meaning. There's absolute meaning behind all these coins, and
and so
you
don't mess with them.
You don't. You leave them.
You leave them alone. And I do know pennies are for respect. On you don't know them, you didn't serve with them, you're just a fellow veteran with them, and so that's the penny's meaning. And I think the dime is that you went through basic with them, and then the nickel, maybe that's the nickel. The dime
with them. There's a whole bunch of that stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. And I think the quarter is that you were there when they died.
Yeah, the quarter is you were with them. Yes.
So I mean, there are things that aren't being taught, and I mean, and it's sad. My dogs.
Yeah.
Is it really bad? Because I'll yell at them.
No, I can hear you fine. I can hear you just fine.
But they need to be taught, because I've been out there to where the kids are gathering up the coins thinking this is for them, and they're taking
free money
like it's Halloween candy.
Sure.
And it's like, really? Are you're here respecting your dad, and you're letting your children steal all these other veterans that have showed respect.
Right.
And so, it just needs to be taught, and we're the ones that need to do the teaching.
In my whole life, I was always taught that you need to communicate. You have to communicate your wants, your needs, your whatever upsets you or whatever.
Yes.
We need to communicate more. We need
exactly.
and we need to be heard more. And so there also needs to be the listening aspect, like a child not understanding the whole aspect of putting coins on a headstone.
Right.
Moms and dads need to take that little bit extra step and say, hey, do you understand what that means?
But they don't know.
They don't even know. And so
they don't know.
The word needs to get out there. It's about communication, I would believe. And, a lot of us vets don't want to communicate with anyone. If I'm honest.
And that's hard. And I understand that it is.
Yeah. And so there's a whole bunch of catch-22 there, and so.
There is. And that's the other part of my passion, is that veterans they're being told things like, here's a book, read what you have coming to you, here's your benefits, read the book.
Right.
Not everything's in that little book that they give you.
There's very little in that book.
Yes. And there's a whole lot that are available to a veteran.
Yeah.
And a veteran that is in deep depression, a veteran that's hurt severely, that has maybe a TBI, that just can't comprehend what he needs or how to express what he needs. There are so many different scenarios that our veterans are facing with the VA system. And they just take it because that's what we were taught.
Yeah.
You go in, this is what they tell you to do, and you leave.
Yep.
But there are so many other options out there. And that's what we need to be able to communicate to also. Yes, our system is broken, but it's our system. And it's our responsibility to get the changes that we need.
Yeah.
Not what they want to give us, but what we need. And if we don't do that.
That brings up a hell of a point. And Granny Lisa, I was talking to you earlier about one of the most influential things that were said to me by a VA doctor in Syracuse, New York. He was my psych doc. I was new to the area. I had moved from Fort Campbell back up there, and I had to do my little screening, right? So he
Right.
could really see who I was. And so we went in there, and it was 45 minutes of bullshit and me telling him all kinds of stuff I didn't necessarily want to talk about. And the first thing he said to me was, "You should smoke weed." That's what he said to me. And I was like, "Oh, no, sir. No," because I was very professional. There was absolutely no way I was going to break the law by smoking some cannabis, right?
Right.
Seriously, I was very square, if you will, and very by the book. Well, after that, he was like, "Look, one thing I need you to understand is that the VA, the civilian side, nobody in the world is going to care about you or your treatment. You have to care about your treatment. You have to advocate for yourself. If you don't, you will be put right in there with everybody else. It's just getting everything shoved down their damn throat and getting sick and end up dying off, and nobody's ever going to give a shit." And I wasn't going to be that dude. And it took me several years to figure out that that was the way. But here we are today, and I'm healthy. I'm alive. I'm using cannabis and not that other bullshit that they tried to push down my throats. And I'm a lot happier and healthier.
I'm glad too.
My job is to make sure that everybody else has that option to go there. Now, if you need those medications, if you believe that wholeheartedly, by all means, that is your life and your health and well-being.
Yeah, because we don't know what your situation is.
That's
so
right.
We're not saying stop any medications.
Mhm.
No. You do not stop anything without the doctor telling you.
Yes.
But there are other options, and that's the key word, options. You are not stuck in the VA system with nothing but this kind of life if you're miserable. There are options. Now, if you're having trouble with your doctor, if you're having trouble with the LPN, if you're having any kind of issues, there is the patient advocate. Yes, I know they're overworked, and I know it may take time to hear back from them. Believe me, I know. But they're there for us. They're supposed to be. That's their job. Will they play the game of the VA? Yes. But then it's our responsibility to say, no, you don't work for the VA, remember? You get the paycheck, but you're representing me, and this is what I want. This is what I need.
Yeah.
And once you say that, and that's very easy to say, this is what I want, this is what I need.
Yes.
You work for me.
Yeah. And you know what?
I paid the price to be here.
Right.
And you are for me, not anybody else.
This goes back to being a good soldier. You didn't ask questions. You did what the hell you're told.
Exactly.
So we try to bring that into the civilian world. Look, we're civilians now. Now we're a little bit on a different level, but we're still civilians now. So you need to use your voice.
Exactly.
Make sure that you get what you need. If you think that doctor's being a turd, or if that nurse is being rude to you, say something.
Because it's not going to change otherwise.
Well, I mean, for me, I said something several times, and now every time I walk into the VA, the cops follow me around. And that's okay, because I'm not always going to do something, only when they mess with me. And so it's just the way it is. That's what they get paid for.
Witness.
Yeah.
You have a legitimate witness with you now.
Yeah, damn right. And so I'm not even worried about it. But
I know. And everybody's so sensitive. Well, come on. We're soldiers, okay?
Yeah.
I actually got denied. A doctor denied me because I said the F word.
Really?
Yeah, he was upset. My local doctor was upset because I said that's fucking ridiculous.
Hey, man.
And you know what? I've heard other men say all kinds of curse words in front of him and everything else. But and he's an old-time doctor, never in the military, but he's an old-time doctor. And women's have their place.
Yeah.
And they don't curse. And so he denied me. And I went round and round with the VA because I said, well, he works for me. Yeah. Well, he also is a physician, and he can deny any veteran. Well, then you're denying me my service.
Yeah.
No, we're not. You hired him, right? Yes. You're in control of him, right?
Hmm.
Well, yes, but it's his license. Okay, so unless you fix it, you're denying me service.
Yeah. It would seem
And
so.
that's what I said. And that was the argument. And I won.
Hmm.
But it's still, that's the point. You
Right.
have to be that voice. And, you know,
Well, you have to be willing to fight too. They will. They will take the easy route. You
they
know.
will, because that's the VA. The
Yeah.
positive side is that not all VAs are made the same,
Right.
because I have heard awesome, awesome stories from veterans that have gotten wonderful care
Hmm.
and service and are respected
Yes.
and just wonderful. And I've been to a couple of them,
Hmm.
but I've also been where I've almost died in one.
Yeah.
I have also been in places where the Phoenix VA, where the soldiers were dying in the waiting room of the emergency room.
Sure.
You know, unfortunately, their their sacrifice opened the door for now lawyers willing to take veteran suing the VA. Before that, you could not get
Yeah.
a lawyer to go against the VA at all. But after the news people got a hold
Hmm.
of it and shared all over the world
Yeah.
about how these 5 veterans died in the waiting room of an emergency room with
Yep.
their family members there,
Yeah.
laying on the floor.
Hmm.
I've been in
So
that emergency room and I know
it's unacceptable.
it's
That's
unacceptable.
absolutely unacceptable.
And yet that opened the door for us, unfortunately, but fortunately, to be able to now sue the VA.
Yeah.
So, there is that option now. There
Well,
are
for
so
me,
many things.
I've gotten great care,
Mhm.
for the psych aspect of the VA. I went through like, I don't know, I guess 9 different therapists before I found my last one. She squared me away. So I've had excellent care that way. My health care otherwise has been absolute shit. And
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
I've had both, and I will give credit where credit is due, but my health care, no,
Yeah,
absolute shit.
yeah,
And it sucks that I know everyone else is getting mostly that. Now I assume that they're going to find a good one, just like what you were mentioning. There's good ones out there, but I mean, I'm seeing posts like,
I don't
let's
see
go.
any posts.
Yeah, it's all me. I was just looking at comments that over 40 years, VA docs only one honestly cared.
Yeah,
And so, matter of fact, let's go ahead and go through a couple of these
yes,
comments, okay?
yeah, I would love
Um,
to, because I
this is
can't see them. I don't know why.
old Charlie Wollstonecraft. He
Hey,
mentioned
Charlie.
when he came home, his mother told a friend of his military took her son away. It's sad, man. But a lot of us went through that. We changed.
Yes,
We became different people. I hate to say we became men and women, but because it's a little bit different than that.
mhm.
Let's see what this one says from Amy.
Hi,
Somebody needs to
Amy.
be out there teaching kids about PTSD and explain to them why their parents are psychos. Yeah. I feel so bad for my kids that just have no idea about wars swirling around in my head, and I don't even have words to explain.
That's
Amy,
true. That's true. And you know
I
what,
am with
Amy?
you. I'm
I
with
have
you.
a suggestion, okay? Um, I don't know, how old are your children? Are they preschool, middle school? What ages are they? Is she still here?
I don't know, Amy. Let's get that in there if you can, and we'll be checking out that. Uh, let's just go ahead and
Okay,
and
yeah, I have a. I'll just give her a general suggestion. Amy, there is a way to communicate to the babes, okay? And especially if you have the short temper, which most of us do, or when you have the anxiety, which a lot of us do, um, those things are very hard to hide.
yes,
Okay. And so the kids pick up on a lot of things and then they don't understand it. They just know our mom's acting weird.
Yeah.
She's, like you said, psycho.
Yeah.
But you can explain in different ways. If you have little tiny children, and I'm talking like preschool, then of course you're not going to go into great detail. You're just going to say, Mommy's having bad dreams. Mommy's experiencing bad dreams. They know what bad dreams are. So they can relate to, oh, Mommy's angry because she had a bad dream. Oh, Mommy's really kind of nervous because she's thinking about that bad dream. I have bad dreams too.
Yeah.
What was your bad dream about? Oh, yes, I can see why that would be scary for you.
I see you.
And so then as maybe, grade school and up, you can explain it into different areas. Well, do you remember when you were picked on for this kind of thing, or somebody was, there was a school fight, or somebody's just getting, just clobbered, okay? You know how they would feel about that, right?
Sure.
That's what Mommy's memories are about. Mommy was getting clobbered, and it was really difficult for me to work on that. And so now I have those images that come back, and they sometimes just make me upset. And sometimes when I have that feeling in me, just a little thing like not listening to me, and when I'm telling you to put your dishes in the sink, I can just snap. And that's why, because I'm thinking about this memory and the feelings are still in me.
Right.
And yet when you're not listening to me, it brings up that fear.
That's a good way to put it.
It's not directed at you. It's me. I'm the problem. Hey, Jeremy. And then for high school, I would say, depending on their maturity level, okay, use your wisdom. I'd be up front and tell them, son, daughter, I was in the military. I was in the war.
Yeah.
I experienced this, and this. That's why I go and see a counselor. That's why I'm on medications. That's why I can have episodes where you don't understand why it's happening. And I would suggest, even if you're going to counseling, I know this is kind of scary. If you're going to counseling, I would suggest one of them go with you. Because there's nothing like a counselor to be able to also see from an outsider, looking in, and be able to connect both of you together with the trauma. And that there will build a bond between you and your children that will never, ever be broken. And they will always be on your side. They will have your six. Okay?
Absolutely.
So I would not hide it. I know it's hard to control, so we need to control it. We just don't go all, off into left field. But there's a way to explain to your children so that they don't have that fear, that confusion. And I would talk to your counselor. And if you aren't in counseling, if you can't use the VA will pay for you to have outside counseling. Okay?
Yeah, they will do this.
They'll do that. And so that's important. You need to be able to work it through. You can't ignore it.
Right.
Don't ignore it.
Great advice, Granny. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. That scored that away real well. And all the different levels too. I appreciate that. I would suggest it was in the middle is where she was, because that's where most of the crazy attitudes that don't understand come from.
Yeah.
At least in my experience,
Well, kids are so different from when my kids were little. So, my grandkids can work on computers, and, they're 4 and 5, and they're showing me how to do things.
They're showing me stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm not doing so good on the computer literacy aspects.
That's why I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be 61 on May 28th.
Yep.
Just deal with it. If I push the wrong button, oh well.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. I mess things up all the time, And now I'm just kind of flowing with it. I'm like, hey guys, I'm just old disabled vet,
Well, I want to get back to something, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, let's go.
Let's talk about vet coats.
Yeah.
Because I so believe in the vision of vet coats. Okay.
It's pretty fantastic.
I met David through, who did I meet him through? I can't remember who I met him through, but he came and he did one of my third podcast.
Nice.
He was my third guest. And so he came on, he had never done a podcast before. And I was so new and so nervous. And to tell you the truth, I had no clue anything about marijuana seeds, nothing.
Yeah.
So here is, the 60-year-old granny trying to figure out what the heck is he talking about with these seeds and what the different names are and the growing and how it helps veterans. I caught on to that. So I zeroed in on that. And so he invited me to join Vet Coats. So I'm thinking, well, I don't do marijuana, but you never know what the government's going to do, and they may take my pain medications away. So, be prepared, right? That's what we were taught.
Options. Yeah.
Exactly. So I joined Vet Coats and I started going to the groups and, listening. And, a lot of the veterans there were talking about growing seeds, and we would have the group chats, which I loved. Not too many women were in them, but the guys put up with me and my silly questions, and they all had fun with me and I had fun with them. So, and I still get it all confused, but it got to the point where I was denied my pain medications because I said, this is fucking ridiculous. So I then started to really take notice of these seeds that I won. Not knowing what to do with them, I just kept them in the little sacks that they came in and put them in a drawer. And the FOOP group, or whatever you call it.
FOOP?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of that stuff. I hope it lasts. I hope there's no expiration date on it. From what I understand, it's fish shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, does that spoil?
I have no idea. I would imagine yes, because they have to sell more. Yeah, that's where I'd go.
I would sell more because you use it. But anyway, I got 3 boxes in the closet.
There you go. Yeah, I assume it'll do something for you.
Yeah. So I figured that I started asking more questions. Well, I'm not on any pain pills. This is what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And so the guys were really patient with me. I say the words wrong, indica and
sativa.
I always call it something else, like the sugar. But yeah, the sativa, that's for the pain and everything. And then the indica is for relaxing and sleep with your pain.
Yeah, so there's stuff written, the sativa is good for anxieties and depressions and whatnot. Now, that doesn't work that way for me. It makes me more anxious. So it's an individualistic thing. They will say that sativa is good for all that stuff and give you energy and focused thinking. And indica will help you relax and help with your body aches and stuff like that. But it's all dependent on you.
Okay, well, that explains a lot.
Opposite. I know people are completely different.
I found a store, the dispensary.
Yeah, dispensary.
Okay, and I went in there and I got myself a beautiful pipe that I can't work, but I got one that's really long and everything, because every time I would do the short little pipe thing, you know how you hold the exhaust hole or whatever you call it?
Carburetor.
The carburetor. Thank you very much. See, every time I got it backwards, and so when I would inhale, I would end up blowing back in. So all the stuff I wasted so much. Oh my gosh, it was like all over the place. So I figured, okay, I need a different device.
Practicing is the fun part.
Oh, I was
Practicing is a
more
fun.
frustrated. Well, I think it's because my hands are crippled
Sure,
that
I got
it
you.
became the issue with my fingers.
Hmm.
So I got me one of those. I saw TJ. He had
Uh,
one on that he was puffing on. It was this real long, kind of like
Gandalf.
oh, it was so cool looking. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
oh, that's like what that show with the
Gandalf.
little. There we go. And I'm like, that is so cool. So I found one, a glass one, and I
Hmm.
can do that one without any problem. And I loved it, and it was doing good. And so I went back to that store, and I was talking to the lady, telling her, this is what I need. This is what the guys told me I need. And so they had it too. And so I bought these jars of different ones to try. And
Hmm.
so I got me a nice supply. I got a nice box that this stuff is all in.
Hmm.
Then they tell me, go to the pain clinic. You cannot do cannabis and receive pain medications.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I was taking Tylenol 3, which is the lowest, and they told me to smoke, weed.
Sure.
And oh no, 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 no. But you can't take Tylenol 3 anymore because you're old and codeine is not good for you.
The Tylenol is not good for you. It's
Well, the
bad for your
Tylenol
liver.
too, but the
Terrible.
codeine, yeah, the codeine is causing a lot of elderly people to just
Yeah.
die. I think it's a lot of other stuff, but anyway,
A lot of
that's
fun stuff.
my,
Yeah.
conspiracy theory.
Hey, so Stuart Microgreen,
Oh,
I,
yes.
I want to answer this, Stuart. Listen, real help, Stuart, is going to be from your brothers and sisters.
Yes.
If I'm honest. Now that's psychological stuff, okay? Now, if you need to talk with your brother and the sister. If you have health issues, I mean, come on, we understand that doctors are going to be able to give you that kind of stuff. But I noticed that a while back, and he had mentioned he posted again. Let me get rid of that one.
Okay.
And I wanted to get back to him, and now we have that moment.
Yeah,
And
'cause I have
and
some
then I
questions
noticed
too.
here he gave up 15 years ago, Stuart.
Oh, okay. Are
Bro,
you're talking about the VA? There
you
are things.
cannot give up, brother.
No,
Don't.
because let me tell you, okay, the veterans in our society in the United States have come together in so many ways. I
Yeah.
don't know how old you are, Stuart, but I have been doing this for a year and a half, okay? And I am blown away by the information that is out there to
Yeah.
help our vets. And it's
Yeah.
veterans that are doing it, such as there are programs for homeless that a veteran group will help you get off the streets. There are veterans that will help you get food, get you housing, will get you off drugs and alcohol, be with you the entire time, not
Yeah.
just say here and then let you go. There are places that you can go that are not any cost to you, that they will pay you to go to,
Yeah.
that will rehab you. Okay. And I'm not talking just about drug and alcohol, I'm talking about up
Mental.
here. And that is doing that camaraderie that you had when you were in the service with other brothers
Yep.
or sisters, because I think they have two, and they're all over. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I have one here in Montana that they're out of New York, but they have actually got a ranch here in Montana that they come out here for the summer. They have the vets come out
Mhm.
and they go through riding horses for therapy. They have fire night, at night. They do the campfires to where they're talking, laughing, sharing, crying, whatever the needs are.
Yeah.
They also do hunting and fishing. They get you to where one, you're not alone. Two, they will put you in touch with the people. Doggone it. I don't know how to keep that on. they will put you in touch with people that you need, such as if you need medications and you're not being heard at the VA, they will get you a representative
Mm-hmm.
to speak on your behalf to
Yep.
the VA. Okay? They're out there. The
Yeah.
problem is that we don't have a I don't know what you would call it. We don't have like a yellow pages. I don't know if people know what that is anymore, but we don't have a yellow pages like you could look up
Right.
and say, "Oh, I'm feeling this depression. I'm not getting help for this injury." You know, the VA is just bullshitting me around. Excuse me
Right.
for cursing. I usually don't curse, but I'm getting very passionate right now. Um, but there are organizations, and I don't know where you live. Now, don't you do the growing packs?
He does.
Okay,
He does.
all right. I got yours, and I finally planted them. They're
Nice.
about
Nice.
this big.
Hey,
I don't know when
so
I'm supposed to put them in other dirt, but see, your organization touched me. All
yeah,
right, and learning to be self-sufficient. There are other organizations, I guarantee you, that can fit your needs. And if you
absolutely.
need help, we're here. I
Yep.
don't know how, but I know people that know people. Okay.
Yep.
I know veterans that know veterans.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what we do. That's why we're here.
exactly. It's exactly right. It's that call to help. You know, look,
Mhm.
I see that 22 a day stuff we were talking about.
Oh,
You know, it hits me hard. But listen, there's something I wanted to mention while we were on this subject with Stuart.
yes.
Um, so I wrote down a few of the things that I knew off the top of my head that you can deal with if you have a problem, if something's not happening at the VA. Like you have a psych appointment and you go in there and they just start making you feel like shit, or you're not able to do the group therapy and you need single therapy and they're not willing to give it to you. I'm telling you, you need to open your mouth, right? You have the VA reps, right? That's just what they do. They usually have an office in the VA that you're going to go to, right?
Yes.
Ask the people at the front, where's my VA reps? And go talk to them. Most of the time, the door's shut and they're not going to answer, but leave a message. They will get to you, okay? Second
You gotta
option,
be that itchy itch. Be that it.
yes. Second option is your patient advocates, which are much like the VA reps, but they do a little bit more and go a little deeper. Um,
Right.
just go in there and spill your story and say, look, I need this help, you know, and I'm not leaving until I get it. That's their job. Don't forget this, guys. This is what they do. Okay.
Right. They don't
After
work
that,
for the VA. They want to. Okay.
mm-hmm,
This is the key. They want to. They say they're there to work for the VA and smooth it out. No, the patient advocate is there specifically to work for you, not
against the
anybody else.
VA's options. If the VA says no, the patient
That's
advocate will say, hey, I think this fits and you need to do this.
exactly. They are to work for you. And if they're him hawing because they don't want to piss off such and such,
That's right.
then you need to say,
Mm-hmm.
listen, you're here to represent me.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I need this. I
Yeah.
want that. Either
Yep.
you work for me or I need to find somebody else that is.
Yeah.
And I
This
need
is
to
when,
report you
yep.
because I will report you because I know how the system works. You just go
Yep.
up the ranks.
Yeah.
And I know that very well. I will report you for not standing as my proxy
Right.
with this VA.
Yeah.
Period.
And so, like we were mentioning, we're civilians now,
Mhm.
right? And so, being civilians, we don't have to follow the chain of command. If your squad leader ain't doing shit, which is your doctor, you go to your platoon sergeant, right? Which is your patient advocate, right? And if your patient advocate ain't going to do nothing, go to his leader, right? Go to his first sergeant. Go to the commander. Go to the battalion commander. All I'm saying is you don't have to worry about chain of command as a civilian when it comes to your health. Go out there and get it, take it because you earned it,
Exactly.
right?
And you know
And
what?
so another
Social
thing,
media is a big tool right now. And I would suggest this. If you get in touch with me or with, Glenn here and talk to them about what your specific needs are, we can find somebody to help you with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what we're here for, is to be that voice. Nobody understands a vet like a vet. And
That's right.
sometimes those patient advocates are veterans, okay?
This is
Some of
correct.
them. And so they
Yep.
will go to the bat for you. Some of them are just punky ass kids, okay?
Yep.
They're there to earn a paycheck, or they're old farts and they just want to be in the system and retire and not have
Yep.
to deal with the shit. Okay, that's true. But there are some good people. Don't
Yep.
allow them to be disrespectful to you. You
That's right.
earned this.
They work for
We're
you.
there for you.
Yep. And you know, and while we're on it, again, I had a few more. Don't
Yeah.
forget about the Disabled American Veterans thing, which is usually attached to the VA anyway. They're the ones that give rides
The
to and fro.
DAV,
Okay?
yep.
Those people have advocates in there that know the business, and they can get around the loopholes and they can contact the right people.
Yes.
The DAV, don't forget that one, guys.
Yes.
Also, you have your American Legions, your VFWs. All those people generally know the business or have an advocate in there. Don't forget about those guys. And then, last but not least, like Granny Lisa and myself and Vet Codes, we are here for you. Okay. Look, I have taken it upon myself, and so has Granny Lisa, to take this time to communicate with you guys, and I'm willing to listen to you and answer questions as best as I can. Not saying I have all the answers, but I have an avenue, at least an idea on how to go or somebody to ask, and I can maybe possibly help you, and I want to do that.
Yeah, and I think that we need to create a list that these organizations do for our veterans that we just don't know.
Right.
And our social media is getting better. I mean, you can tap into Facebook and hit veteran programs, or you can type in nonprofit veterans,
Yep.
and you'll get a huge listing. And they'll
Yeah.
have either a website or something that will explain what they do. And so there's really not anything that isn't covered by some group out here, that veterans taken it upon themselves to help another veteran.
That's what's up.
And there's okay, let's be honest, there's screwballs all over the place, okay, that want to take advantage. That's just human nature. But most of them that are nonprofit, they have a system that they have to follow, and so those are not going to be the funky ones, okay? And again, each person's different, so keep looking until you find a fit. And there's plenty of us that are a little strange, okay? I admit it. But there is help. There is a way.
There is.
Don't give up. I know that there's a lot of good people that volunteer at the VA. Okay, they volunteer.
Yep.
If you could ever get one of those people aside and say, listen, man, I am just so tired. I am so tired of fighting this system.
Yeah.
What do you suggest I do? How can I get heard here? I bet you they'll know somebody, because they're there to help you.
Yeah.
We're volunteering there. So I'm sure that they'd be able to help you. I know a couple of guys that work at the VA has volunteers, and they've been on my show. And I know that they do programs and help veterans in Washington, at the Washington VA there. They do that in Spokane. And he's an old sailor. Okay? So he knows the ropes, he knows the attitudes, he knows the battles.
Yeah.
He's got his scars too. But he's there trying to help. And so, he picks you up in the cars. He actually does the program No Vet Dies Alone. And so, that's a huge thing. I'm going to file, decided that today. Good for you.
Good shit, Charlie.
Wall. Yet members are helping me, and I will stay the course, and help is needed. So far, so good. Good. Actually, we have in Vet Codes, I don't know, but you could talk to David. He knows. There is a couple of people that are former paperwork pushers for our VA compensation. And I actually filed when I first got out, and it's been 26 years ago. I was denied. And this person in Vet Codes encouraged me to pursue this. She's a female. And so I went to our, we just said it, the veteran rep here in my city, and he filed the paperwork. And of course, it was getting a little dodgy, so I was telling her about it. And so she kind of took over. And a month, 2 months later, I got 70%, and they sent me a paperwork because you get a bunch of paperwork, and it's so confusing. I'm sorry, but it is, and they do that on purpose.
Was that Kathy Mabe? Kathy Mabe? No, wasn't Kathy to help you?
No, but it was her friend.
Oh, okay.
You know her. I'm not going to broadcast her name because I don't want her to be overwhelmed.
Roger that. Understood.
But I would ask David, and he would be able to.
Okay.
To steer you right on that.
Sure.
But she, I told her all the paperwork I got, and she said, whoa, wait a minute. She says, you got a golden ticket. I'm like, what? She says, you got a golden ticket. And I've had the paperwork for a while. I was happy at 70. I was happy that I got anything. Acknowledged that, yes, this happened. But this golden ticket almost expired. It was like 30 days, and I was 15 days out.
Wow.
Yeah. So she took over. I did exactly what she said I needed to do, and it came back the next month 100%.
Nice.
So, there are people here in Vet Codes alone that have the knowledge and the experience. There are people out there to help you pretty much get the information or how to work with the VA, what you need to do to get certain things. There's no excuses on not being able to get the help you need.
Right.
It's out there. It is. It's just a matter of finding it.
One of the things that everybody needs to be understanding is that, like, for instance, Stuart, what he was talking about, having a tough time. We got to think about logically, the government don't want to pay you shit. Right? No. Nobody wants to pay you anything. Everybody wants to get out easy. So it's our job to take what we are deserved anymore. And it's sad, but it's the truth. And so don't give up. And Stuart, if you think that just getting healthcare is not enough, maybe we should talk one-on-one, and I'll talk with you about some intricacies that you don't necessarily want to share with everybody, but there's some intricacies about you that you can use that are all related to this, man, that you just haven't thought of. Let me help you with that. Okay. Reach out.
There are individual experiences that they look at each case.
Absolutely.
And each
you
case
need to utilize that.
And they do have different levels. Okay.
Yes.
But the severity, like you have, here's an example. Remember our World War II veterans? They came back. They didn't complain. It was almost when they're half dead, retired, that they're looking for the VA for help, right? And most of them are denied because that's the system, right?
Yeah.
So then there was such a big hoopla about all these veterans of World War II not getting help, not even getting health care. Well, because they don't have any records. The records burned up in St. Louis in the big fire where all the records were kept. How are they to prove anything?
Right.
So they started pushing them through and put other people back, right?
Right.
There are still World War II veterans that are fighting for their benefits, okay? Yeah. They're waiting for them to just die.
Yeah.
The Vietnam vets.
It's unfortunate, and I wanted to take the time to mention.
Yes.
I had, through my groups that I rode with, like the Patriot Guard Riders, at funerals, and the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, we did a lot of events, where we'd
Right.
go out and just show our support to folks. And I met a lot of Vietnam veterans, and I grew up with a Vietnam veteran and actually went to some of his therapy sessions with him as a child. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody else. I wouldn't want you to take your children and talk about all your bullshit, just future reference. But anyway, I grew up in this environment, and I heard about how they were mistreated. And this goes along with the Korean War veterans and the World War II and the World War Ones even. World War Ones, they had their parades, if I'm not mistaken. But so with these folks, like the Vietnam veterans in general, I would go out as a veteran myself, and it was clear that I was a veteran, and I would shake their hand and say, "Thank you for your service." And these Vietnam veterans would be like, "I don't want to hear that shit." And I'd be like, "Well, sir, I'm showing you respect as another brother. I'm showing you respect." And they said, "No, I didn't get my respect when I came home. I don't want that shit now." And that hurt my heart so bad. These people don't want that love anymore because it's past. I can't say all of them, but some of them, it's been so little, for so long that they don't want it now.
Yeah,
It's focused to them.
I've experienced that too, and
That's
and
sad.
the majority of them, they've had to fight, and just like you know, he said, I've been fighting for 15 plus years.
Yeah,
Um, it is a fight.
it is.
But you know what? You're worth it.
Yeah.
You are worth it, and things are changing, and we as veterans are coming together more and more, and soon, you know, um, you know, it's our job to educate the communities. It's our job to educate what war is. It's our
Yeah.
job to educate what we're experiencing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let me ask you this. When you say I have PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
there is some punk over there say, "Oh, I got PTSD." Oh, you do? What? How did that happen? Oh, I had this in high school, and so you never experienced warfare?
Mm-hmm.
No. Have you ever been in the military? No. Okay. So there's like this whole thing of if you've had any kind of trauma, you've got PTSD. It's now been into a huge label that was mainly for veterans and war and trauma.
That was how it was initialized. Yeah.
Now, and this is my conspiracy theory,
Mm-hmm.
I think the government has made it to be so much more so that they don't have to take responsibility to our veterans who actually are PTSD and have trauma, have injuries that are war related.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, you didn't. Oh, you bruised your foot in football, kicking the ball. That is not trauma, okay? Having your limb blown off is trauma.
Right. But me talking about that as a 3-time combat veteran, I would get aggressive. And so I shut my mouth. I
I
don't say
know,
a
and that's
freaking word. I will not.
well, that's fine. And I can understand why.
But
Because you
but
had
I
to
do
listen.
understand, you understand what's going through my head.
Yeah.
But I have to, yeah, you have trauma. I understand that. And I can't detract from the amount of trauma you have.
hmm
Um,
But I think that's done on purpose.
it
So
is.
the veterans, when we say, hey, we got trauma here, you know,
Yeah.
everybody's got trauma. Okay, give us a break. You think because you were in a war that you are special?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I think that the veterans that were in war and had to sleep in foxholes, have bombs going off, have chemicals around them, that are dying of lung cancer because of burn pits, that have limbs missing, that can't get in and out of a car, that are going home and families are splitting up because they can't deal with the trauma that their husbands had or their wives had, and
Yeah.
the families are broken. And hell yeah.
I can't say enough from the bottom of my heart for the support that veterans get from the spouses. um, from the community. You know, there was a thing in the military called a family readiness group that every time the soldiers deployed, all the spouses would come together and they would figure out what the hell's going down with their soldiers, what they're going to do, what they're doing. It would keep the families up to date with what their veterans or their soldiers were doing. I would like to see this in this kind of group. I know I've met several of the veteran spouses just in this group, and they need support too. We can't forget about them. You know, if it wasn't, in my personal opinion, for me, my wife, we've been married 30 years, going on 31. She's been through every deployment I went through and came home and was all fucked up. She was there with me. She was there with me at night when I was having my nightmares, which, you know, she's there. She'll be there tonight and she'll experience it tonight. It's not like it just goes away every day, but she's still here. She still gives me that love and she'll still fight that VA. She's the one that got me everything I did because I wasn't able to stay on the phone with these people for 45 minutes to 3 hours talking about the same shit and them to tell you, hey, call back in a week. It's still being processed. 5 years later, still being processed, you know? And so she's the one that took that because she knew I would lose my mind and I would give up, right? I would give up. I don't need this shit. You know why? Because I'm too proud, right? But all these people that are listening and everybody that's going to watch this recording, you have to drop that pride, man. These people are going to ask you, why do you think you need this? Tell them exactly. You
don't
know, you there
don't
with me?
Pussyfooting around.
Yeah, no pussyfooting. Just like you said, tell them the real deal. Tell them why you think you need it. Don't give up. Damn, don't give up. I wouldn't have let you give up as a soldier. Why would you do it now? I wouldn't as an NCO. And if you were my soldier, there was no damn way you'd give up. And I ain't doing it now.
No, and that's it. We are still bonded together. You are not alone. Even though when you left the military, you left your unit, you left your brothers and sisters behind, you are still not alone. We're here.
Yep.
We're here.
We fight in the same battles, people.
You know, we may not have our screws all lined up, but that's okay. We don't have to.
That makes for a good time, if I'm honest. If we're all fucked up, everything's going to be a really good time. So let's get it together, you know.
And I don't want you to, if anything, I don't want anybody to leave this show thinking that they're alone, because you're not. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you are contemplating suicide, my husband, veteran, PTSD, he committed suicide in our home with me there. He fought 2 years. We fought together 2 years. I know that he is no longer in pain. I know that he's in a safe place. I have my religious beliefs. And, but you know what? All of that stuff, it's still in my heart. It's still up here. And I'm still dealing with it. And so if you have a family, if you have children, and you're contemplating this, stop. Absolutely stop. I know you're in pain. And pain is the shits, okay? I've been in the pit of depression. I know. That's how I understood my husband so well. But you will leave behind a shitload of things that will never, ever leave your loved ones. You do not want to leave that legacy. Do not do it. You get help. You call whoever it is and you tell them, this is what I'm thinking. I'm done. I can't do it. Then you get the help, okay? I don't care who it is. I don't care if you call the police. There are plenty of police. I know a lot of people hate the police, okay? But there are plenty of policemen that are veterans too. And they know if you're a vet and you're calling, hey, I'm a veteran and I'm thinking about killing myself. You know, do you have weapons? They'll ask you, do you have weapons? Yes, I do. Can you please set them outside?
Yeah.
Don't set them outside. You know, whatever. Follow the instructions. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not alone. Don't do it.
For me, um, the way I look at it is you don't get your trigger finger ready when you're down, man. You get your ass kicking boots on and you go kick ass. You get on homicide watch before you get put on suicide watch. You understand me? All right. That is the way my people are. Look, my people, and I say that because I'm an infantryman at heart. I was an ass kicker, a door kicker. That was what we did, right? And they taught us a mentality to when you're down, you start fighting. Tooth and nail.
Exactly.
You take every bit of blood you can out of that person. You don't give up, right?
No.
We are not cowards. We're not going to give up. We're going to go kicking indoors, and we're going to take names, and we're going to get this VA to pay you what you're deserved, and we're going to make your life calm. You be a door kicker and not a trigger puller.
Exactly. Because that's what, we take pride. I don't know about you. I take great pride in what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, me too.
I went through hell. I went through hell. I mean, I am a girl, and I have to tell you, basic was hard for me. I could shoot. Okay, I could shoot. But I mean, and all those things, the swinging on ropes and climb, and then learning how to think. Okay, it's a girl trying to think like a man. All right, this is from a woman's perspective. I was a tomboy, so it kind of came good to me, and the camaraderie, and you trust on that buddy next to you.
Sure.
I took pride in that, in those accomplishments. When you came back and you helped somebody, you saved a city or whatever your job was to do, and you completed it and you were successful, you took pride in that. Because you did your job.
Sure.
That's what you volunteered for. Okay, there's some that were fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay? But you were a soldier, and you should be proud of that.
Damn right.
It's not something to bow your head on or be ashamed of. I'm sorry if you had to take another life. I'm sorry that your friend died. I'm sorry that if you got injured and lost parts of you. I'm sorry that if your heart is broken.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that if you have the nightmares that just don't go away. Damn it. You know what? You're a fucking soldier. And you did your job, and I appreciate that. And I'm sorry that you're not getting the help that you need right now. But don't ever give up on that, okay?
Yeah.
Because things are changing. There are positives. I'm telling you, there are positives. And Glenn here, he knows it. He's been down that road. I haven't. I've only heard the stories. But you can't lose hope. Don't lose hope. I don't know what our comments are. Is there any other questions?
Everybody's just really listening in. There's a lot of, like Stuart mentioned, his doc looked at his record and said he can't help him, even with missing, being deaf in one ear. It's just a lot of these kind of things, like Amy said, they should pay you to your 150. Okay. Yeah. Keep on going, Amy. That's what I'm saying, folks, is listen, man, it's never that bad. Okay. You got enough support. Just like here, Chris, man. Yeah, I got you, bro. If you need, a walking through, okay, let's try and do that, man. I'll do my best. I promise you.
Like I said, get in touch with David. He can get in touch with the people that are in our group who can direct us.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that there is people out there that are veterans that did this and know the exact wording that they are looking for.
So, people, because we're going to be wrapping this up real soon. So I want to end with the fact that, dude, you have a fan club. Every one of these people in here and every member, and even your battle buddies, all the members, if you have battle buddies that aren't in this group, they have a fan club in me. I can speak for myself. I am your fan. Let me help you with whatever I can, man. I'm retired. I have a lot of ideas, but I have a listening ear, and I'm compassionate to your problems. Okay, I understand that we all have our own. I want everybody to understand that between me and Granny Lisa, and I know that I could pick out 20 people right now that are here willing to listen to you. Charlie can attest, Andrew can attest, Stuart can attest. We've talked to Stuart a little bit. People in here can attest to this group's ability to hear you, give you limited advice if that's what you're looking for, or major advice. Please, people, use this. She's an advocate. She knows her business. She was a lieutenant colonel, retired now. She knows programs that she's willing to help all of the veteran folks. She took her leadership very seriously, at least in my opinion, just from knowing her and listening to her talk. She took her leadership very personal.
Who is it?
Taime or Taime.
Oh, yes. She's very knowledgeable.
She knows her shit. And so, like I said, between this group, just the admins that I speak to daily, we know a bunch of shit. And don't make me get my wife involved. She is a crazy person when it comes to the VA. She will chew ass and take names. And I am not afraid to unleash her. Let me know, folks. You hear me?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that we don't know these things. And they don't advertise these things. And that little book that they give you, that's nothing. There's a bigger book. I'm still learning. Oh, well, that's covered by the VA. Really? You're 100%, right? Yeah. Oh, that's covered. Oh, are you 70%? Are you 30%?
Right.
Oh, well, that's covered by. Where do you get this information at?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They don't have it written down anywhere that I found.
No, and they won't. This is all about experiences, and the more veterans we can get together with all these experiences, I'm telling you, we got 2,000 followers dang near, and I know that you got so many assets. People would call, or you'd call them, they'd answer your question within 30 seconds. Okay. I know that you have that ability, and I have that ability. These people need to know it, and that's why we're here tonight, folks.
And that's why there's so many veteran groups out there that are doing the exact same thing. Yeah. I don't care what state you're in. I guarantee you that we can Google and we can find somebody in your state that would be willing to help you. Sure enough. And I mean, not just say, oh, here's a book. And no, I'm talking about help you. Like they helped me. Okay. Right. They're there.
Well, all right.
I'm sorry. I get on my little tangents.
Let me see. So Charlie added one more. Let's answer one more question. When I joined the Pot Growing Club, longer been involved, it's turned into much, much more. Yes. So it's the camaraderie. We're talking, we're willing to talk every day. And if you have a problem, we pick up on it and be like, hey, are you doing okay? What's up? And that means something to people. So with that being said, do you want to give you're going away, Granny, for tonight? Your last words?
Okay. I know that's kind of cliche, but we got your 6.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually thinking about getting that tattoo.
Yes.
I don't have a tattoo, period. But I'm actually thinking about getting that tattoo.
Well, if you come to me,
message.
If you come to my house, I'll give you one.
You do tattoos?
I do.
Where are you
at?
I
did my hand. I did my legs. I did, yeah.
Okay, I want it on a part that's not going to sag and look like it's deformed.
No, it'll look nice. Old. It's all about preparation. We'll get you. But anyway, I'll take care if you want.
That's my last words. We got you.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, I just want to mention that, I know this wasn't growing information, but this is the kind of information our group needs. We have a lot of veterans that are fed up with the VA, and I understand you guys, okay? Trust me. I had finished my journey with the VA and don't have to mess with them anymore, but I'm willing to help you guys fight this fight. I know some ins and outs, and I know Granny does too. So I hope this helps you all. I appreciate everybody tuning in and all the questions and such. And don't forget, if you watch this as a recording, please ask questions. I'll come back in and answer them as best I can. And if you have something for Granny Lisa, I will post this on to her. I have a feeling we're going to do another episode because there is a bunch to talk about with this brilliant woman. And so we're going to make some stuff happen. Okay, folks?
Yes.
So
I want to invite people too. If you, because my show is about veterans talking with me. Okay. And if you have a message or a situation that you feel needs to be heard, I'm your gal. Okay. Because I don't mind going down that rabbit hole with you.
Okay.
I don't mind. I want people to hear the truth.
Sure. I mean, that's the key, right?
That's the key right there, is that they're not knowing that our veterans, or you're feeling this way or that way, and you're not getting the help that you need. And so people need to hear that. People need to hear your story. Mm-hmm. And so if you're ready to share your story, you get in touch with me, okay?
Sure enough. I have a feeling me and you will be doing a lot of work together, Granny.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love Vet Codes. I love what the vision is. And I appreciate the help that they've given me, still giving me, and the members.
Like I said, we have so much more to talk about. I would love to do this again, and maybe I'll be able to join you on your radio podcast.
I hope so.
You might get me out of my shell. You might. All right.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Granny Lisa, hang on. I'll see you right after this, after I get everybody out of here and on their way, okay? All right, everybody. Thank you for visiting us, and we'll talk to you later.